Hey everyone, it's Jason, and welcome to my ultimate dining guide for the Caribbean Princess. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this down into 5 sections, one venue for every section. And I'm going to rate the food and the service from 1 to 5 stars. And when we get to the buffet, there was something on the buffet in a certain area that just confused me and everyone else. So I'm looking forward to knowing whether this would confuse you also. So section number 1 is the main dining room. And this was like a tale of 2 different stories. So first night we went to the Palm Dining Room, which is the main dining room in the aft of the Caribbean Princess. And quite honestly, it was one of the worst experiences that I've ever had on our cruises and 30 plus cruises. And it wasn't necessarily the meal itself, although the service and the food wasn't great. It was leading up to that. The restaurant manager, she was probably one of the rudest people that I've ever encountered on a cruise ship. And look, I get it. They work hard. They have a tough job. And I thought, okay, she's just having a bad day. But it just, I tried to give her benefit of the doubt. And it just never, I could not turn it. Usually I can soften people up and, calm them down a little bit. There was none of that. So I'm not going to focus on that because things do happen. What I'm going to focus on was the Coral Dining Room. And that's the midship dining room, and I believe it's on deck 6. And Charles, who was the restaurant manager there, without an E, so Charles without an E, was one of the nicest, kindest people that I'd ever met. It was like I said, a tale of 2 different stories there. It was so different, such a different vibe to the dining room. Everything felt different. The staff was happy there. They were having a good time. They joked around with us. They smiled. It was just such a different experience. I was like, are we on the same ship? I mean, it was totally different. So amazing experience. We got these cool little shot glasses. A guy was walking around. One of the waiters was walking around and he was doing shots. And if you have the beverage package, you basically pay $2 for the glass. And so after you take your shots, he would make this noise of like fireworks going off. And he would have a good time with that. And then really cool thing that happened was they sang happy anniversary to someone. And this lady out of the blue, like 2 tables away, just started singing in this opera voice. And it was amazing. So the main dining room, Coral Dining Room, deck 6, midship, amazing. Charles without an E. Highly recommend them. I hope he's still on the ship for you guys to go see him. Totally impressed with him. So I would rate the food 4 out of 5 stars. And I would rate the service 5 out of 5 stars for the main dining room, for the Coral Dining Room, Charles with an E. So section number 2 would be the Crown Grill. And overall, the food was excellent. Cannot complain about it. We both had surf and turf. So the Crown Grill is $38 per person. If you want to add a lobster tail, it's an extra $10. So then it becomes $48 per person. So just keep that in mind. If you're planning on doing surf and turf, it's $48 per person. Lori had the lamb chops and then had a lobster tail also. And then I had filet mignon and lobster tail. Everything was cooked perfectly. We both like ours medium and medium rare. So wonderfully cooked. Everything tasted amazing. Now the service side, not so great. We had asked for not to be sat in the front. I don't like to be in the main thoroughfare right there. And unfortunately, guess where we were sat? In the front. And I just don't like it because people, they put their menu outside. So people are looking at their menu and you're sitting there eating and they're like, hey, what do you got there? It just was weird. I mean, I don't like that at all because the glass partition doesn't go all the way up. It just is like halfway. So not a real big fan there on that. And then the server was okay, made no suggestions, not any personality. I actually thought we had better service in the main dining room under Charles. When we asked him about what was his thoughts, what was his recommendations, I mean, he was like, everything's good kind of thing. And I'm like, oh, okay. Overall, though, I'm going to give the food a 5. It was amazing. The food was very, very good. And I would say the service, not really personal, didn't have a really lot of good personality there. And just overall, I would probably say like a 2.5 to 3 out of 5. It just wasn't that great. So section number 3 is Sabatini's. Now Sabatini's is also another specialty dining restaurant on the Caribbean Princess. It's $35 per person. It is a 5-course meal and there's a ton of food. I mean, it is, and I will say this, if we could have ate there every single night of our cruise, I probably would have done it. The food, the service for everyone was amazing there. Also, your drinks come from the Wheelhouse Bar, which is next door. And I think that was probably the best bar for like mixed drinks on the ship. It was just, they were amazing. So we went there twice. I had the filet mignon the first time, and then I actually had the eggplant parm. It was excellent. And then my wife had the eggplant parm the first time, and then the ossobuco the second time. And there's just so many meals, pastas and scallops and shrimp that came in it. The food just kept coming and coming. I've been asked by someone in one of my other videos, was it all you can eat? And I can't imagine eating more food than was already provided. There was just so much food there. Amazing experience, amazing time. And I will say this, the restaurant manager there, that was like you were eating at his home. And he explained it that way. That's the way he felt. He had worked for Princess over like 20 years. And it's just a little bit of a difference from the kind of service that you saw at Crown Grill versus Sabatini's. It's just, I highly recommend that place. Excellent, excellent meal. I'm going to give the food a 5-star. I'm going to give the service 5-star. It was the best food and experience outside of maybe one experience on our cruise. So that would be my ratings for them. So number 4 was the buffet. And what I mentioned in my intro was that something was very odd that I had never seen before was when we were getting on board, I got a salad and I was looking for ranch dressing. And I asked one of the crew members, hey, is this ranch? And they're like, yeah, that's ranch right there. And it was really weird because it wasn't with the other salad dressings. And I'm like, it doesn't look like ranch. My wife was like, that's not ranch. So I went and got a cup, poured some in, and it was tartar sauce. And they had fish on the buffet. They just didn't have the tartar sauce with it. So people were looking around for the tartar sauce, and it wasn't tagged at the time. And people were looking around for ranch, and there was no ranch. And then we were told there was no ranch. So it was just a mass confusion. I've never seen that on a buffet where they put the tartar sauce right with all the salad dressings right there. I don't know if you've ever seen that. So that was a little odd for me. So as regards the food, I had really high hopes. The first day, the carved meat station, the roast beef was excellent, was cooked to perfection. It was juicy, amazing. They had a really good selection. They had grilled chicken for the salads, just really good buffet. And then after that, the carved meat selection was always kind of dry. It didn't have a good taste. They had no more grilled chicken for the salads. And the selection was kind of like fried foods and things like that. Not a real good selection there. Now, I will say one thing. They did have a real nice meat and cheese selection with some like walnuts and pecans. If you wanted that, as a quick snack or to take it back for like maybe you're having a glass of wine with it, they had a real nice section on the buffet for that. So as regards the service in the buffet, really interesting. First day, not that great. You saw passengers, no one was cleaning tables at all. And so you had passengers like piling up plates on tables and moving them to other tables, and it was hard to find a seat. And that's usually the first day anyway on any cruise ship, but there was really not enough service up there. Then day 2 happened, and the service was amazing. Like, it was night and day difference. And what I noticed was, it was for lunch, it was everyone from the Coral Dining Room. Imagine that, Charles, Coral Dining Room. Everyone was up there, and they were having a good time. Once again, they were having a good time, and they like would not allow you to get your own water or your own drinks. They're like, "Do you have the drink package? What do you want? Do you want water? Do you want this?" And I went to get up. I'm like, "No, I'll handle it. I'll take care of it." "No, you won't. We'll get it for you." And I just was like, "Okay, no problem. No problem at all." So food overall, I would rate a 3 out of 5. And the service, a 5 out of 5. It was excellent. So before I get to number 5, if you would, please give this video a like. I would appreciate it, and it does help the channel grow. Also consider subscribing. I do daily cruise shorts, one on cruise news and one on tips and tricks. And then I do longer videos on Saturdays and Sunday mornings at 8 a.m. I appreciate it. So number 5 is the ultimate balcony dining experience. You can do this for breakfast. So at the time of this recording is like $55. And then we did the dinner, which was $110 for 2 people. You get surf and turf. You get a bottle of champagne, you get drinks, 1 drink each. They bring in a photographer before you eat to take pictures, and you do get 1 8x10 included. You get a dessert that's not found anywhere else on the ship. It's a special experience. We had our own waiter. We had our own assistant waiter. That was Teddy and Tristan. They were amazing. So if you do any kind of, like, if you're thinking about doing Crown Grill and you're going to do the surf and turf and you have a balcony, maybe consider doing the ultimate balcony dining experience instead. It's something I would recommend. It's just a special experience. I did a full video on it, and I'll link it in the description so you guys can check it out. Service and food, 5 stars out of 5 stars. It was a special and awesome experience. Highly recommend. So I appreciate you guys watching. I do want to know from you, have you ever seen tartar sauce in the middle of the salad section on a buffet on a cruise ship? That is something I definitely want to know. Also, have you ever done the ultimate balcony dining experience for breakfast? Let me know in the comments. Until I talk to you next week, happy cruising.